Hello students, let's read the problem. And it says, sketch the graph of each linear inequality. Y greater than or equals to 2x plus 3. So let's see what they want me to do. Well, it says to graph the linear inequality. So now we're not going to be graphing equations anymore. We're going to graph linear inequalities. But graphing a linear inequality is very similar to the way that we graph the equations. So that should help us when it comes to the graphing part. But right now, I want you to look at the symbol that is here. And that symbol, we read it as greater than. Is that right? So the first thing that I want to do, and we're going to write down a couple of things that are going to help us when it comes to graphing my inequality. So first of all, I am going to write down what it means by that symbol. And that symbol means greater than or equal to. And that symbol is going to help me decide two things. Number one, and I'm going to write it right here. Okay, since the word is greater than, that's going to help us decide where the shaded is going to be. Okay, and the word greater goes with above. Okay, so let's write this down. The shaded part, and we're writing all of this to help you for the notes, will be above, and I'm going to underline that later on or highlight it, above the half planes. This is very important for us to know. Okay, so let me highlight the word above. And again, that is because we have the word greater than. Okay, second thing that is very important for us is going to be what kind of line is that going to be? Is it a solid line or a dashed line? Okay, since the symbol is including the equal to, then this means that it will be a solid line. Okay, so let's write it down. And we'll come back and highlight the word solid line. Okay, so these are the two things that we're going to consider towards the end. Okay, so what I need to do now is I'm actually going to graph it. Okay, and like I said, we're going to compare my linear inequality to the way that we graph the equations. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to write down my inequality. And right below that, we're going to write it down as if it was an equation. And that means I'm changing that symbol to equal. Now remember, this doesn't mean that they're the same because an equation is a function. And we know an inequality is not a function. So be careful with that. I'm using it just to help us graph it. Okay? So right below that, I want you to write down the slope-intercept form, okay? And the slope-intercept form looks like this. Y equals mx plus b, okay? And this is going to tell me where is it that I'm going to start, because remember, this is your y-intercept. And the y-intercept tells me where do I start graphing, okay? Next, I got the m, and the m is my slope. And remember, the slope is the one that determines you rise over run. So I'm going to write down my slope right here, and I'm going to write it down as a fraction. Because now my slope is a positive slope, that means that I'm going to go 2 up and 1 to the right. Okay? So let's go ahead and graph it. So where am I going to start? Well, I am going to start at positive 3 on the y. So I'm going to come back over here. And right there where the y is, I'm going to find the positive 3. Okay? So my positive 3 will be right here. 1, 2, 3. That's where I'm going to start. So let's follow the slope. The slope says 2 up, 1 to the right. So I am going to start right there on the y-intercept. I'm going to go 2 up and 1 to the right. 2 up, 1 to the right. 2 up, 1 to the right. Okay? So, since that's only part of the line, I need to extend it to the other side. That means I'm going to do the opposite. So the opposite means instead of going up, I'm going to go down. And instead of going to the right, I'm going to go to the left. Okay? So we're not changing the path. We're not changing the pattern. And you will see that in a minute once I start graphing the following points. So let's continue. I'm going to go 2 down and 1 to the left. Notice how the path follows right there. 2 down, 1 to the left, 2 down, 1 to the left. Notice how I'm not doing the loops in every single point because I wanted to make it look nice. But notice how I'm still counting 2 down, 1 to the left, 2 down, 1 to the left. And those are all the points that I will make my inequality. Okay, now the next question is, well, do I make a solid line or do I leave it as a dashed line? Well, go back to the first two things that we put on the top. So I know the shaded part will be above, and I know it's going to be a solid line. So solid line means that I can connect all my points. So I can connect the points. We can try our best to connect it nicely. It's going to look something like that. Okay? And now it's going to be shaded above. Now, one of the things that I have with the students is, Miss, how do I know what you mean by above? So I'm going to tell you to look at the y-intercept. And my y-intercept is right here. I'm going to put a label right there. That's my y-intercept. That's the one that is going to help me decide what do I mean by above. So if my y-intercept is 3, can you look for the numbers above 3? Well, that would be 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, all of the numbers above. Do you see that? So now I know that the shaded is going to happen above that. So let's go ahead and shade it. And I'm going to choose the green one. So all of this needs to be shaded. I hope I don't go more than what it is supposed to be. So this is what I'm going to be shading. And some of the students get confused because they think about, Miss, but you're shading right here, down here. Yes, but we're looking at the y-intercept, guys. Okay? So that will be my answer for me. And of course, we can go a little bit more over here. Remember, this is like if you were to continue. So notice how my shaded is going to be half of the plane.